Hello and welcome. Today we're going to try something different. Just create with fabric and floss. Okay, so we are back a couple of days later. And I'll explain why it's been a couple of days here in a minute. So we let these dry. Then I threw them in the dryer to heat set them. And then, of course, I ironed them without steam, so they're nice and flat. Then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and baste however you want to baste. If you want to do pen basting, or I use the 505 spray basting, and I attached my background to the batting and to my backing fabric. Then I made these little templates on cardboard, which I will actually print up and have them in a link in the description so you can download them for free and be able to use them in your pattern. Then I used a water soluble pen and traced them, and I cut out extra just so we can see how we want to lay them out. Of course, we want to have them so we have an odd number. So you just kind of lay out the way you want your design. You got to remember, we have a bottom which has more green, and then the top which has more blue. So we probably want to start up this way and lay out our flowers and see which way we would want them. Let's see. Maybe you'd want some where it's hanging off. And you got to remember, you're going to have stems that we're going to stitch on coming down. But you can have your design as full as you would like of flowers. You can even add smaller flowers. Maybe we'll go with something. Let's add this style flower over here. So it's coming off. Now that's a little more like this. Let's take these away. Bring it down maybe just a little more. Or maybe we want another one of these instead. Have it just so it's barely hanging off. And then you're going to take your circles. We have a smaller circle. And then we have the bigger one. And of course, each one's going to be different. So you can play around with which way you want them. Scoot that one. I can scoot this one over. And we'll go with something kind of like that. Now, maybe we'll switch these two out. Go like that. Now, you can use applique heat and bond on these. I'm just going to give them a little spray to hold them down with my basting spray, because we're going to go in and we're going to stitch free motion around them. And what I'm going to do is take and do the flowers first, and we're going to kind of bring into the point, just free motioning it around, and then I'm going to put the center on, and then I'm just going to do a spiral. And then in the end, we're going to put a big button on. So what I'm going to do first is the flowers, and then I'm going to come back and draw with my pen the leaves and stems, and then we're just going to free motion those on as well. You can do it all in one if you want to. So let's get started. So we're going to move these off to the side, and I'm going to put a pin in them so I know these are the circles that I want, because I did cut extra. So now I have extra flowers that I can be able to do something with. And I'm just going to take and lightly spray my flower and kind of position it and then press it down. And it will stay there enough so I can get it appliqued down. If you got it in a good spot and you don't want it to move, just kind of lift up the petals and give them a good little spritz of the adhesive. Like I said, you could use heat and bond if you would like. So let's just tack this guy down. And then we're going to go to the sewing machine. And I'm using black thread on the top and white thread on the bottom, because I'm a painter. If you watch some of my older videos, and when we paint, you add the details with the little black paint. So that's why I chose to go with a black thread. You can go with any color thread that you want or choose to go with. If you want it to blend in or contrast, it's up to you. So let's head on over to the sewing machine. So here we are at the sewing machine. I have black thread in. I do have my feet dogs down. Yes, there's a reason why I say that. We're going to pull the bobbin thread up. So just put your needle down and just kind of pull your top thread until it pulls up your bobbin thread. And then I always have to have another little tool, whether it be my seam ripper or a straight pin. And then you're going to go right back down in the same hole. Let me put my glove back on. We are free motion. You can do this just with a regular sewing foot if you want. We're going to tack it down. And then we're just going to stitch around each petal. So as I thread my machine again, I'll tell you why it was a couple days later. So my daughter's getting married in a couple months. We have roughly 2 months to finish all of her wedding stuff. We are making a lot of it, so it is crazy time here. We have to finish her veil and make her signs and stuff like that. So it's a couple days, but it's well worth it. Okay, so we're going to bring back up our bobbin thread, and I'm going a couple stitches back from where my thread broke. And it's a little harder when you have these gloves on. You can't grip some of this stuff. I mean, yeah, they're there to help you grip your fabric, but you can't grip everything else. Put it down. We're going to tack that section down and go again. And so there are our flowers. Now I just need to go in and draw my lines for my stems. Okay, so now I'm just going to hand draw with the friction pen. My lines that I want. And because this is whimsical, when you're stitching, you can come up and back down, up and back down, just to give it a whimsical. And because I am using a friction pen, when we're done, we can iron all the pen marks off. So let's go stitch these. And I will be doing them free motion as well. And because I'm starting at the bottom, I'm just going to start off my quilt and then come up. Now that we have our flowers appliqued on and we've free motioned our quilting part, now we're going to bind it. So I have some rainbow fancy blanket binding, and it is about 2 inches wide, and it's folded in half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this to the back this time. So we're going to start at the bottom, and we're just going to attach it like I normally would with the edge, even with the edge of the fabric. I cut it and squared it up. And then we're going to fold this over like this so it's on the front, and we're going to do a decorative stitch. So let's bind this quilt up. I always start in the bottom of my quilt, and we're going to leave the tail so we can finish it off. And then when we get to the corner, we're going to do the mitered corner just like always. So let's bind this on the first step. Okay, so I have the binding around. What I did is I stitched it on the back side, and then I'm flipping it over. And I have it all pinned and ready to go. And we're going to do a decorative stitch. I think I'm going to do the leaf stitch in the black as well to attach the binding down here on the top. So comment below, how do you attach your binding? Do you attach it to the back first, or do you attach it to the front first? So let's go sew this binding together. Okay, so now we're ready to do our decorative stitch. I have my leaf pattern selected, my general foot, and we're ready to go. Tack it down. Now there it is finished. You can embellish it however you would like. I'm going to add some big buttons to the top, or to the top of my flowers. You can add some other buttons. You can do some other quilting if you want. Like if you wanted to do a bee or a bird or a butterfly, something like that, feel free to. So now that you know how to make a watercolor quilt, your arsenal is now endless. You can make any design that you want. You can create your own fabric just for what you need for that particular project. So I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're going to try it and make your own fabric using watercolor paints, maybe share it with a friend. And I would love to see what you create. There are many ways that you can support my channel. And one of them is maybe hit that subscribe button so you know the next time I upload a different, unique technique for our quilting adventures. Coming up on screen is a video that YouTube feels that you may like, but underneath it is a playlist that will give you all kinds of different techniques for your quilting projects. Kind of like this watercolor one here. So until then, happy quilting, my friends.